Good morning, everybody, and those of you that have turned up to our AGM, thank you very much for attending. I'd just like to mention before we get into the business of the AGM, for many, many years and more years than I can remember, we used to have one of our ratepayers, Jeff Dickinson, come in and give us some very, very wise advice. And sadly, he's no longer with us. So we just, as a council, we just want to recognise the contribution that he made at our AGMs. So, for your information, at public input time, attendees are reminded that council meetings are a place of work for staff and councillors. Council is committed to meeting its responsibilities as an employer and as host of this public forum by ensuring that all present meet expectations of mutually respectful and orderly conduct. It is a condition of entry to this meeting that you cooperate with any directions or requests from the chairperson or council officers. Chairperson is responsible for maintaining order at council meetings. The Chief Executive Officer is responsible for health, well-being and safety of everyone present. The chairperson or chief executive officer may require a person to leave council premises following any behaviour that falls short of these expectations, and it is an offence to hinder or disrupt a council meeting. And public attendees are requested to register their attendance prior to entering the meeting. And for the information of everybody here, this meeting is being recorded. So item 1 on the AGM agenda is those that are present, and we have one apology from Councillor Caroline Lana. Present today are Councillor Julie Sladden, Councillor Lyndon Ferguson, Councillor Josh Manticas, Councillor Jeff Lyons, Youth Mayor Yushan C, Deputy Mayor Richard, I'm being very formal now, Councillor Rick Sheegog, Christina Homdal, Councillor Joy Allen, and Councillor Richard Ireland. So the next item, item 2, is the confirmation of minutes of the AGM meeting that was held on the 19th of November 2020. That's a mistake.
2024.
Oh, 2025 it says here. I beg your pardon, a typo. 2020. So I'll read that again. Confirmation of minutes of the AGM meeting held on the 19th of November 2024. And the recommendation is that the minutes of the Council's annual general meeting held on the 19th of November 2024, numbered 24/134 to 24/137, as provided to councillors, be received and confirmed as a true record of proceedings. Will somebody please move that motion? Thank you, Councillor Allen. And a seconder, Councillor Lyons. Councillor Allen, any comments? Councillor Lyons, any comments from the floor, from the councillors? There being none, any further to close? I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? Carried 8-0. Item number 3 is the Chief Executive Officer's declaration, and it's found on page 23 of the papers of the AGM. Item number 4 is the Mayor's Message 2024-25 Annual Report. As Mayor, I am proud to present the West Tamar Council's 24-25 Annual Report, highlighting our ongoing dedication to delivering quality infrastructure, services and community-centric programs for our residents over the past financial year. As a member of our local community, I can proudly say that Council and its elected members have maintained their commitment to improving the quality of life for West Tamar residents while ensuring sustainable growth, financial security and ongoing development across the municipality. This financial year, Council has delivered almost $12 million in capital expenditure, an incredible achievement that reflects our considered and sustainable approach to asset management and ongoing investment in community infrastructure projects. Of that amount, $7.1 million was allocated to the renewal of existing assets, ensuring the continued serviceability of key council infrastructure, while $4.7 million was spent developing new and upgraded assets. The past 5 years have been particularly challenging for local government. Ongoing concerns regarding the cost of living pressures and the increasing cost of housing, particularly building new ones, has seen the spotlight fall on local and state government to deliver savings to their communities while continuing to provide stability and increase services to allow for towns and cities to grow and thrive. It's a never-ending juggling act for councils, keeping rate rises to a minimum while maintaining or increasing the services they provide, and while remaining fiscally responsible and managing a bottom line that is in black. That's why it's encouraging to see, from my perspective, that once again the West Tamar has recorded an underlying surplus of $700,000 following a $3.5 million surplus in 23-24. Being in a strong position financially allows council to maintain a steady ship while retaining the ability to ride out unexpected storms that may lay off the horizon. In this year's annual report, there's a fascinating, informative infographic that outlines how Council spent each $100 of ratepayers' money that it received. As an example, $8.28 of that $100 is spent on maintaining and upgrading our parks and reserves. $23.90 is spent on local roads, including bridges, stormwater, and street lighting, while a further $14.05 is allocated to community service such as operating the Beaconsfield Mind and Heritage Centre, our community grants programs, as well as the many wonderful cultural activities Council provides throughout the year. I was fortunate over the past year to officiate at 2 community celebrations that collectively recognise the hard work and integrity of council officers, with the official opening of the $2.5 million Lagana Sports Oval and the $2 million redevelopment of the Windsor Oval. The Lagana Oval project was funded by the West Tamar Council with $400,000 contribution from the Education Department, and its use is shared between the school community and the broader general public. The community celebration, which included an official ribbon-cutting event, was held in February, with hundreds of locals joining staff and local sporting groups for a day of fun-filled activities. 3 months later, Council again celebrated the unveiling of another redevelopment sporting facility with the official opening of the Windsor Oval in May. It was certainly no secret that the Oval had been plagued with drainage issues for a number of years due to the poor condition of the playing surface, specifically over the winter months. The redevelopment of the Windsor Oval began in 2024 with the purpose of delivering the best value playing surface in northern Tasmania. I believe that has been achieved, and all that hard work culminated in a grandstand opening that featured scores of young sporting stars and hundreds of eager-eyed fans at an official opening in June. It must be said that while there are some in our community who question the amount of money allocated to sporting grounds in our region, Council fully appreciates just how important these facilities are for the broader community. Thousands of people of all ages use these types of facilities in a weekly basis in the West Tamar, and the benefits of enjoying a healthy lifestyle are already well documented. In closing, as I reflect on the achievements of the past year, I can state categorically that the West Tamar Council remains committed to the well-being and progress of our community, ensuring that we continue to create a West Tamar region that is vibrant, sustainable and inclusive. And I ask that my speech be accepted. Thank you. Item number 5 is the Chief Executive Officer's Message 24-25 Annual Report, and I'll hand over to our CEO, Kristen Desmond.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's my pleasure to present the West Tamar Council's annual report for 24-25. In my 2 years at the helm as Chief Executive Officer, I am proud to have led a team that has successfully recorded back-to-back surpluses of just over $4 million, a positive figure that will continue to enable us to deliver on our ambitious infrastructure plan over the coming 12 months. For the 24-25 financial year, Council's underlying surplus will be in the vicinity of $700,000, coming in off a $3.3 million surplus the previous year. This result allows Council to deliver its infrastructure projects at a time in which costs of materials and contract labour continues to increase well beyond both the Consumer Price Index and the Council Cost Index. This year has been one of transformation for the West Tamar Council, embedding a constructive culture. Filling vacancies that have existed across the organisation for a number of years have been a priority and one that I'm proud to say that has been achieved. Similarly, there are a number of success stories over the last 12 months. From an internal perspective, West Tamar has enjoyed a significant jump in compliance levels against our customer service request system, achieving an incredible 98.2% rating, which is impressive from any perspective. The West Tamar also experienced a tremendous jump in visitor numbers to the Beaconsfield Mine and Heritage Centre, recording more than 34,000 visitors during the year. This is a 10% increase compared to the previous year. Council also delivered more than $11.8 million in capital works projects, including $7.1 million in renewed assets and $4.7 million in the new and upgraded assets. To ensure a high level of customer service, Council regularly reviews and reports against its customer service charter, achieving 98.2% compliance rate with its customer service request system over the year. We were also able to finally sign off on the construction of the Beauty Point Foreshore project, which is a significant milestone for the region. The completed project features a continuous foreshore trail, a new fully accessible and fenced children's playground, barbecued shelters, seating and picnic tables, and new formalised car parking. The project has certainly been a labour of love for many at the West Tamar Council, and I'm sure many of the staff, councillors and members of Beauty Point community are absolutely delighted with the finished product. Two other signature generational projects that were completed during the year were the Lagana Sports Oval and the redeveloped Windsor Oval. The $2.5 million Lagana Oval serves both the school community and the general public and will form part of a broader Lagana Sport and Recreation Master Plan, which will guide the future development of council land directly in front of the new primary school site. Similarly, the $2 million Windsor Oval redevelopment will be a godsend for many in the southern end of the community. For many years, the Oval was plagued with drainage issues due to poor condition of playing surface, particularly in winter when it's used the most during football season. It's fair to say that in 2025, the West Tamar boasts two of the finest sporting ovals outside of a major Tasmanian city. Finally, I'd like to recognise the work and dedication of our Mayor, Christina Holmdale, and all our councillors, as well as our executive team for their leadership throughout the year. The collaborative efforts of all of these people, as well as our amazing council officers, continue to make the West Tamar Council an incredibly capable and dedicated organisation that has an incredibly strong focus on serving and delivering for our community.
Thank you, Kristen. Item number 6 is the financial report, and this report has been adopted by Council and is found in the agenda from pages 29 to 24. Item number 7, submissions to the 24-25 AGM, and there are none. Item number 8, to the 24-25 AGM are questions on notice, and there are none. Questions without notice are item 8.2, and anybody in the public gallery that wishes to come and speak is welcome at this time to do so. But just for questions, not for the statements that you've recorded. So if there are no questions, we go to item number 9, which is the motions, and 9.1. Oh, I beg your pardon. Thank you very much. 8.3 are responses to the previous AGM on notice, and they are found on page 38 of the agenda. So Council 9 is now motions, and 9.1 is a motion on notice from Scandia Documentary Photography. Pardon me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, would you repeat that? Thank you very much for that correction. Do you wish to come and move your motion? Thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I suggest the gentleman turn his
Yes.
microphone on? Yeah.
And could you speak into the microphone? Thank you.
Yes, that company, Scandia Documentary Photography Proprietary Limited, it has nominated me to be on the general manager's role, though I'm not sure if that's actually been actioned as yet. The form was only submitted this morning. Yes, I'd just like to move that motion, Madam Mayor. Essentially, what we want to see is council develop and apply strategies to deal with sovereign citizens that are in West Tamar municipality.
Madam Mayor, may I just say that the gallery probably don't know what your motion is, sir. So do you want to read your motion out?
Actually, I don't have a copy of it with me, but
I'll read it out for you then.
Okay.
The motion says an AGM motion that the West Tamar Council develop and apply strategies to deal with sovereign citizens in the West Tamar municipality. And the rationale is that this seems particularly appropriate for the West Tamar Council to address in view of the recently shot Tasmanian police officer Keith Smith in having grown up in the West Tamar municipality.
Yes, so I was hoping to move that motion on behalf of Scandia Documentary Photography Proprietary Limited. I'm an elector that's on the general manager's role, as I understand, though perhaps that hasn't been put in place as yet by David Gregory. I did email the form to nominate me to be on the general manager's role, and I'm also an elector because I reside within this municipality, so I was hoping to second it as well. The motion.
No, you will have to have somebody that's here today to second it for you.
Oh, okay. Because effectively I'm two electors, one on the general manager's role, and then I'm also on the electoral role for West Tamar Council.
Yes,
Madam Mayor, you can't second your own motion, which is effectively what this is. You can't be the person who's nominated by Scandia Documentary Photography Proprietary Limited, and then because you as an individual need to be doing that, and then for you to second it would be you as an individual seconding that motion. So you will need to find somebody else who is willing to second that motion for it to move forward.
Right. Thank you.
so I call from anybody to second that motion. There is no seconder, so that motion fails.
Oh, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Motion 9.1, a motion from Mr. P. Carney.
Well, even though I'm 178 centimetres tall, I'm not sure that I can see over the top of this thing.
How do you think I get on, Peter?
Well, you'd be like the little girl at the Remembrance Day service who had to have a special sort of step. Now, is that working?
Yes.
Thank you. I came onto council and I discovered to my shock that the state government saw local government as just an entity that they directed. And I've always believed that council ought to be, it may not be legally entitled to, sorry, I have to move the motion.
Yes, you do.
I'll move the motion. The West Tamar Council develops and adopts policy initiatives, including planning reform that deliver available, affordable, accessible and sufficient housing for all who live or wish to live in the West Tamar.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Matikas. You can proceed. Mr. Carney?
I'll continue my somewhat verbal start.
Thank
And
you have 5 minutes.
I'll be very careful to stick to it. If you could give me a 1 minute warning, somebody. Oh, I can't see that. That's too. Oh, I see it's already run down half a minute. Right. But I've always worked on the basis that even if you're only one person and you have no legal right to direct, you're sitting at the table and you represent people and you just get on with it and not muck around. And I have found that very satisfactory in a number of my roles, including this one when I was on the council. The West Tamar Council could be a national leader in achieving the goal of housing for all. And housing is actually a core business of local government. A lot of time is spent on local government looking at development of housing. And that's what local government does a lot of the time. However, housing is a crisis in Australia. And the crisis has come about because of poor performance, and I'm quite happy to assert this, the real estate industry, the banks, the Tasmanian government and the Australian government. It's a sort of a quadrella. And the evidence is everywhere. Major banks are now saying, hello, that there's an Australian crisis of first proportions because of housing. And even at the weekend, I was listening to the Boyer lectures and the James Curran professor said people are not enlisting in the armed services because they don't have a commitment in owning a house. The very traditional Australian thing that you had a house and that was a commitment to your country and that your country made to you. Now, various people are taking initiatives on this. And a good example, I think the Hobart City Council is doing something that I heard. And also there are wonderful things going on around the country, but they're bitty bit. If the West Tamar was a place where it was easier and possible to get suitable housing, then it really does become a desirable place to live.
1 minute, Councillor Carney.
Right, well, I'll be very careful to keep to it.
I beg your pardon,
I'll be
1 minute 48.
Oh, well, I've got a bit more time then. If we can say, go to the West Tamar where you can get a house, and it also happens to be somewhere where you can get good facilities and services, as been indicated, what a goal worth pursuing. Now, you have the other information there on my screen that you've got available to read. I would just refer to the Bob Menzies referral. Bob Menzies held up as the great architect of Australian liberalism, not conservatism, but liberalism. And he always believed that everyone should have a house. I think the West Tamar Council really needs to look seriously at how it can contribute to that exercise. To finish, are you aware that the northern part of our municipality, the housing, young people are being pushed out of the housing market by people coming in essentially from interstate? Now, that's bad for us. It's bad for everybody. Are you also aware that if people owned a house, if they had the house, they would be paying less to the bank than they are currently paying in rent? So these are structural things that need attention, and that's what I'm asking council to look at.
Thank you. Mr. Carney, seconded by Councillor Manticos. Do you wish to speak? Thank you very much. I will put it to the vote then. All of those in favour? Hang on, where is it? Passed unanimously.
If we can just hold so that we can just have the count in the minutes, that would be great.
Okay.
Like an AEU meeting.
Just do we have the numbers done? Thank you very much. That motion is passed. And thank you. Thank you very much for coming in. Then there's motions without notice. And there are two more that have been lodged at the start of the meeting. But the person that, Wendy French, is she here today? So if she's not here, she can't move it and it can't be seconded, so that motion lapses. Also, we have a motion that has been lodged today, and the motion without notice addresses the, who is it? Jamie and Kay. Would you like to come up and move your motion, please?
No, that's what
Thank you, Mayor. My motion without notice addresses the extent of stormwater inflow into the Lagana sewage treatment plant. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for it not being put on notice within the meeting agenda and accompanied.
Madam Mayor, sorry, you have to move your motion and get a second.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
You want the motion, the actual detail of the motion first? Okay. I move a motion that West Tamar Council executes its own investigation into the inflow and infiltration of stormwater into the Lagana sewage treatment plant lagoons during the calendar year of 2026.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Mr. Carney, seconded. So now you may speak.
Now I start.
Thank you.
Firstly, I apologise for it not being put on notice within the meeting agenda and accompanied by relevant written context information to assist those present to evaluate its merit. However, Taswater failed to meet its obligation to publicly report by the 30th of September, with their environmental reports only posted in late October. So I was unable to prepare. Council is the responsible party under the Urban Stormwater Act for ensuring there's a public stormwater system available and installed in urban areas like Lagana. There is consistent and clear evidence from the numerous Taswater annual environmental reports that 25% of the total annual Lagana inflow is not raw domestic sewage and negatively impacts treatment performance through reduced retention time in the lagoons. All the Lagana sewage reticulation infrastructure is less than 40 years old, much of it less than 20 years old, so should not be subject to significant groundwater infiltration. As Taswater continues to rank the Lagana plant 37th of 108, and the previous three reporting period rankings were 38, 38 and 37, incidentally, as their own investigation priority, and it is not committed to augmenting Lagana's inflow into the Tea Tree Bend plant before 2033, I believe the issue demands urgent attention by the party responsible for managing stormwater in urban areas. Have my other notes, please. No, wrong button.
Time's ticking.
Apologise for that. If I go into some detail now, not too much, hopefully.
Jamie, you've got 2 minutes
Right.
and 36 seconds.
Okay, the current Lagana report shows in February, with just 19 millimetres of rainfall, the inflow was 980,000 litres per day, 6,500 equivalent persons. That aligns with census data very closely. That's 80%, plus 80% on the Environment Protection Notice licence of 540,000 litres per day dry weather flow, or 3,600 equivalent persons. In the 3 months, July, August, September of 24, the average inflow was 1,850,000 litres for each of those 92 days, each day. And there was 407 millimetres of rainfall. And that's double the daily amount of raw sewage generated that could only be attributed to stormwater inflow to lagoons through the reticulation system. Now, other plants have similar inflow issues, but Lagana's unique because it starts off with an 80% overload of raw sewage before those flows are added. There was no effluent sent to the reuse dam for agricultural recycling in that period. It all went in the Tamar. The retention time in the lagoons was also obviously halved, impacting the ability to treat the already heavily overloaded plant. This volume of non-conforming, partially treated effluent in this period equates to 72 25,000 litre semi-trailer tankers every day for the entire period. If you consider an 8-hour shift, that's 9 per hour. That's the sort of volume we're talking about going into the river. This year's environmental report states emergency spillways have been constructed at the Lagana lagoons to prevent overtopping and the consequential risk of failure of the lagoon walls. The photographs clearly show the lagoons operating high.
1 minute.
So in squeezing the last drop of additional hydraulic capacity from the lagoons, the normal dam safety guidelines are only now being maintained by the addition of these emergency spillways. Mr Theo, the CEO of TasWater, spoke at the GBE scrutiny meetings on December the 5th and undertook the Lagana plant would keep pace with and not limit development in Lagana until the influent was diverted to Tea Tree Bend in 2033. He said that Lagana would disappear and not be a treatment plant post-2033. So should nothing change up to 2033, then the augmented system will annually inefficiently pump 25% additional volume, 9 kilometres to Tea Tree Bend, need to be capable of double the daily raw sewage capacity in the pumping and pipeline design, and obviously there's also associated power costs. There would, of course, also be no recycled water scheme.
Your time is up, I'm afraid, Jamie.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
He gets 1 more minute.
No, we can't do that at the AGM.
Okay.
But I think you've got your message across very clearly with your presentation. Would the seconder like to speak?
Oh, well, give me the rest of your words.
You can take up where I left off, Peter. How about that? That should be within the rules.
There we are. Well, where did you get to?
There, start there.
Right. I mean, don't expect me to explain what all this means, but
You're a teacher.
the current stagnant priority level of 37th out of 108 plants will be no assistance to the Tamar estuary up to 2033, which is why I'm moving that Council executes its own investigation of stormwater inflow into the sewerage system, so the magnitude of the issue can be assessed in detail and the extent promptly remedied. The extent of non-conformance of Lagana effluent has improved since 3 new aerators were commissioned in November 24, but remains well below the requirements of the current EPN, and with aerators installed, the limit for BOD should be tightened by 20% in accordance with national guidelines. If I may take you to Bridport briefly, where the same aerators were installed in 2023, has returned just 3 out of 18 conforming BOD tests since. You have to turn the aerators on and use the power from them to oxygenate the water and boost treatment capability. It's no wonder that in announcing the price increases on the 25th July, that TasWater confessed that 23% of its 108 plants posed a high risk to the environment and just 9 met all the environmental licence commissioned. One wonders if other industries would be allowed to continue operation by the EPA with such level of non-compliance. Now, the most important thing here is that we've got an obligation as a municipality for the stormwater. And if it's getting in there, in the end, we will have to fix it. So whilst I have lost faith completely in TasWater's commitment to solving our problems, we also need to think about our responsibility as a community. So the motion is really about saying, please have a look at it, please decide, and I mean, if we've got a problem, let's put a plan in place to fix it.
Thank you very much. Are there any other speakers today? There being none, Jamie, would you like to close? Anything further to say?
No, concluded.
Thank you very much.
Interesting, getting into the nitty-gritty of statistics, but that's obviously not for the meeting.
Thank you very much. So now I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour of that motion? So against Councillor Manticas and Councillor Ferguson, and for Councillor Sladden, Councillor Lyons, Councillor Shegog, Councillor Hondal, Councillor Allen and Councillor Ireland, and 4 members of the public gallery. So that motion is passed. Thank you. Are there any motions without notice? And there is one, and it's West Tamar Council AGM motion without notice, Mr. Jeff Dickinson recognition. And
that's from Peter.
Oh, that was from Peter, was it? Okay, fine. Peter, would you like to come forward and move your motion?
I'll probably get it right on this occasion. I would like to move the motion. West Tamar Council initiates a council award called the Jeff Dickinson Best and Fairest Memorial Award. I move that.
Will somebody please second that motion? Okay, thank you. Councillor Allen seconds. Yes.
The award will be given for the most valuable contribution by a West Tamar resident made to meetings of council, contributions that were made with temperate, reasoned and positive presentation. Nominations and selection to be made by elected members only. Now, the arrival of Jeff Dickinson at annual general meetings was always a highlight, and he was always polite, and he was always assertive, but he always commended the council on some good things. He was always positive about the council's role. He believed in local government, was a passionate believer, and he believed that local government actually could make a significant difference not only here, but on a wider basis, which I fully endorse. He also would challenge council. He would talk about things that he had great expertise in, and he would challenge council to think about the things that he was talking about. We'll all miss him. And, yeah.
I think Councillor Mr. Carney has said that well. Thank you.
Are there any other speakers for this motion? Councillor Ferguson.
Yeah, thank you. Condolences to the family. He did make excellent contributions. I will be voting against this just on the basis that, in full respect of the Mr. Dickinson, but in looking at this motion, I see that there are some issues that the council haven't had the opportunity to think through. I would be voting against it on the understanding to revisit this issue in council, because I'd just like this to be well executed and understood. And probably the only other comment is that if the discussion really is specific about how it would work, and that's actually the issue for me. The actual motion itself, I could absolutely support, but when I look at the actual discussion notes and the expectation behind it, I'll be voting against on it with the understanding of revisiting it, because I'd rather see this award to be for the wider community, not just people that come to the council meeting, and I'd hate for unintended consequences to be created through this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Shegog.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just have to remind councillors that this is a motion, if it passes, that will go to the next council meeting for discussion. So we're not passing this particular motion as it sits right now. This is just to take it to a council meeting to flesh out the details that you've just mentioned. So that I'm just wanting to mention that because it might change your position.
Councillor Lyons. No. He said it all. Are there any other comments? There aren't any. Would you like to close, Mr. Carney?
Yes, I'd just endorse the Deputy Mayor's comments. This goes to Council. All of that detail can be worked out. And the focus was on council meetings. And it was partly because that's where Jeff came for many, many, many years. And that's where this is focused. But secondly, it's also consistent with local government's attempt to encourage and enhance good behaviour and valuable contributions. We should have people coming to council meetings, and I think we've been constrained by bad behaviour into putting a lot of rules in place that we didn't need before. We managed to sort it out before. So I support the motion.
Thank you very much. There are no further speakers. Then I put it to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. There being item number 10 is closure, and there being no further business, the meeting closed at. Anybody got the time? 12:11. 12:11 p.m. Thank you all very much for coming.